whole time. What up, you guys? Whitney D here with Whitney D TV, and we have merch! Check it out in the description box down below. What up, you guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be. Go ahead and click that subscribe button to be a part of the Witness gang, to join the Witness Nation. Now let's go ahead and get into this read, shall we? Hello, you guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're new, don't be.
I'm Whitney. Keep it cute, get the boot.
Your girl, as whack as she is in all her glory, was in the New York Times. Several of the girls I interviewed over the years, including Geronda, said Kelly used the phrase "turned out" with them too. It can be heard as street slang for transforming a girl or young women with minimal sexual experience into one who's much more experienced, or a pimp controlling a prostitute, if you will. Joy did not object to the phrase. "You know I'm on it." Then Kelly scowned her for taking pictures of him on her cell phone and made her promise she'd delete them. The Savages provided documentation of Joy's travels to be with Kelly, some of it sent to them by his assistant Cheryl Mack, but they had no pictures of Kelly and Joy together after their first meeting backstage in Atlanta. Taking pictures broke his rules. Joy enrolled at Georgia Gwinnett College in Lawrenceville and started summer classes in 2016, rooming in the dorms with Tori Savod, then an 18-year-old nursing student. The two became fast friends. At first, Tori didn't believe Joy knew R.Kelly, she told me, but Joy started putting him on speakerphone while the two flirted and had phone sex. Joy often visited Kelly at his two houses in Johns Creek, 12 miles from college, and she sometimes traveled with him to Chicago, Tori said. Now, during the first few weeks, Joy always returned for her classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but by the end of the fall semester, she stopped coming back to the dorms. Tori said Joy missed all her classes and did not take her finals. The college confirmed Joy had dropped out. The relationship had warning signs even before Joy left, Tori said. Joy told her roommate she was one of 6 women Kelly housed and slept with, and the others called her a prude and picked on her. Once I left for the weekend, but I came back early to surprise her, and she was crying. I was like, what the hell is going on? That's when she told me everything. Kelly had sent a cab to pick up the girls at the guest house and bring them to an Atlanta nightclub. Joy laughed when the male driver told a joke, and one of the other girls texted Kelly to report this violation of his rules. When Joy arrived, Kelly bent her over and he whooped her behind. I know you lying, nigga, please. Oh, child, could not be me. That wasn't the only time Kelly got physical, Joy told Tori. She told me that Kels beats them. I was like, excuse me? She was like, he spanks us. You don't know what a spanking is? She's 21. I was like, why is he spanking you? I said, has your father ever laid a hand on you? She said no. But when they go out, they're not allowed to talk to any males. They're not allowed to speak to anybody, or they get whooped. Kelly took the cell phone Joy's mother paid for and threw it into the lake, Joy told her friend, replacing it with one for his use only. She says that at night, watching TV, she has to ask if she can go to bed, Tori said, growing more upset and eventually breaking down in tears. That does not make sense. They have to ask to go to the bathroom when they want to go to bed, when they want to eat. Joy's appearance started to change. She began losing weight and she cropped her long, flowing hair short, permed what was left, and dyed it blonde. She looked like a young male prison inmate. We know he like him some John Does. I was like, why do you do that to your hair? And she said, Kels likes it. Almost 50 years old. In 2016, Kelly ordered the women he housed to perform sexual acts for him. Joy told Tori there were threesomes multiple times. At a lot of times he makes them do stuff with each other even if he's not involved. And she told me he's into that kinky stuff. He's really into butt plugs. Whoa. Butt plugs, that kind of weird stuff. She doesn't like it, but she's doing it. She was crying when she told me she doesn't like it, but she won't listen about leaving him. She won't leave. It's like she's a robot. It's like she's brainwashed. Georgia Gwinnett College was 35 miles from the Savages' home in Smyrna. Smyrna. And through the fall semester, Tim and Jay only had sporadic contact with their daughter. Joy was busy. She was in school. She was making new friends, and it was all good, her parents thought. Then Joy stopped calling, stopped talking, taking their calls, and stopped coming home to visit and do her laundry. Eventually, she missed birthday parties, holiday dinners, her sister Jay's high school graduation, and even family funerals. R.Kelly had followed Black Panties with a lackluster sequel in 2015, The Buffet. His latest album, and as it would turn out, his last for RCA, Sony Music, had been 12 Nights of Christmas, released in time for the 2016 holidays. He appeared on The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, on December 23, 2016, garnering a bro hug from the host, who also tousled Donald Trump's hair. Independent published Chris Yatter hyped the album by cheerfully quoting Kelly, "How am I spending my Christmas holidays? I'm going with the traditional, you know. I like to spend the Christmas holidays with my family and friends." That December 25th, Joy sent her parents a one-sentence text. "I hate Christmas has to be this way this year." It's one of the last times they heard from her directly. Jay closed her store and became a relentless amateur private detective. She reached out to everyone in her daughter's life in Kelly's former circle. And one person led to another, each adding pieces of the puzzle. The Savages also filed a missing person report with the Georgia Gwinnett College campus police. But I got the same response they did. The school couldn't do anything because Joy's parents knew where she was, and she was of legal age to go where and do what she pleased. A lawyer told the Savages he couldn't help either. They had no standing to sue Kelly. Jay and Tim also called police in Georgia and Chicago and asked for well-being checks on Joy at Kelly's addresses. Door open house, clear, no one there. Officer Michael Carter wrote in the Georgia police report 2 days after Christmas, 2016. Now, police never returned to the guest house to follow up. A few weeks later, shortly before noon on January 30, 2017, 3 officers visited Kelly's recording studio on North Justine Street in Chicago, led by Sergeant Dion Trotter, head of the Child Protection Response Unit for the Cook County Sheriff's Office and an instructor in its human trafficking program. They surveyed the perimeter of the 2-story brick industrial building, noting the iron bars on the windows and the video cameras lining the exterior. One of Kelly's assistants came to the door when they rang the buzzer. Then he summoned Joy to speak to the officers. Joycelyn Savage related that she was fine and did not want to be bothered with her parents. Sergeant Trotter wrote in the report, "Cops universally love," all caps. Joycelyn Savage further related that she keeps in contact with her maternal grandmother. The Chicago Sheriff's deputies took no further actions. "I'm gravely concerned about her," Joy's grandmother told my editor at BuzzFeed News, Marissa Carroll. The last time the Savages saw their daughter, a few weeks before that text on Christmas Day 2016, they attempted what they called an intervention. She told them she needed some things from home, and the whole family, as well as Joy's friend and college roommate Tori, had gathered in the Savages' kitchen when she arrived. Her hair shorn and dyed blonde, Joy looked like a boy in baggy gray sweatpants and a hoodie, but she smiled and dismissed everyone's concerns. "It was as if she was brainwashed," Jay said. "Joy looked like a prisoner. It was horrible. I hugged her and hugged her, but she just kept saying she's in love and he is the one who cares for her. I don't know what to do. I hope that I get her back. I can get her treatment for victims of cults. They can reprogram her, but I wish I could have stopped it from happening." When I wrote the first drafts of my story, I struggled with the words to describe the situation. Cult and brainwashed seemed bizarre, even melodramatic. But those were the words my sources used, and they were repeated by Georgia and Chicago police in reports about their cursory well-being checks. I only realized months later that brainwashed had been the word. I think it's Jerry Cruz. Yeah, Jerry Cruz had used 14 years earlier when she told Sun-Times columnist Mary Mitchell she thought R.Kelly controlled her daughter, Andrea. Tim Savage said he and his wife decided to go public with their story because nothing else seemed to help, and they felt as if they had nowhere else to turn. "It's not about my daughter per se, it's about all the girls," Tim said. "The abuse that my daughter is actually enduring, nobody should go through, and that part. A few weeks after I began talking to the Savages, I also started speaking with the parents in Florida, who Jay mentioned in her first email. By then, the story Angelo and Alice Clary told me about their daughter seemed eerily familiar. Curly-haired, cherubic, and tiny. Azriel had the voice of an angel at age 17. Many people told me, and when I watched her home videos singing opera as well as pop songs on YouTube, I had to agree. Music gave her strength and provided an outlet, but it wasn't always enough. She suffered from depression, and in the spring of 2015, she tried to hurt herself. The Clarys lived in Polk County, not far from Disney World. A construction manager who grew up tough on the streets, Angelo Clary, like Tim Savage, seethed with anger, but stayed focused during our interviews. Like Jay Savage, Alice Clary was excitable, but less scattered and more hesitant to talk at first. Angelo decided to speak on the record right away, but Alice took a few weeks to reach the same decision. They disagreed a lot about how to handle the situation with their daughter. Both had some troubles with the law in their past, but their love for each other and their children was obvious. And nothing they told me failed to check out or lack cooperation. That's what I be trying to tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? And that's why people be, trying to come at me when it comes to the whole dynamics that I have with Angelo or with the Clarys. And to be honest with you, they've not lied to me. I mean, like, let's be real. A lot of stuff maybe are questionable, but I mean, I've seen nothing but receipts. You know what I'm saying? When they say something, it comes through. I'll just say that. Who don't like it can kick rocks. Anyways, where was he at? Okay. Both used the words "so stupid" when they talked about how they felt about believing Kelly when he first told them he'd make their daughter a star. My thing was, I trusted, Alice said. I have never been in the music industry before ever, and he is a lyrical genius. He is R.Kelly. And the fact is, he went to court. He was never found guilty. He was acquitted, and we were led to believe there was no truth in it. The Clarys bought 3 tickets to see Kelly perform at a funk fest in Orlando during the Black Panties tour on April 18, 2015. They had promised to take their oldest daughter, a Isis, but they didn't want to leave Asriel home alone in her fragile state, so they took her instead. During the show, they were pulling people out of the audience, Alice recalled. A guy said, "Oh yeah, her." He pulled her up on stage after the show. A member of Kelly's crew passed Azriel, the singer's, phone number. Her parents didn't believe it was really Kelly's number, and they got no answer when they called. Then, I guess he must have got back later on or text her later on, Alice said. The relationship between Kelly and Azriel developed over phone calls and texts she kept secret from her parents. And then one day, we were looking for her because she should have been coming home from school, Alice told me. Finally, we get a text message saying that she's okay, that she had met up with R.Kelly in his hotel. And I'm like, you met up with R.Kelly at his hotel? The Clarys rushed to the hotel and called Orlando police, who told them to deal with hotel security. They did. And their daughter finally came down to the lobby, but Kelly refused to talk to them. Angelo and Alice took Azriel home. After that, she was only talking to him when one of us was around, Alice said. Like the Savages, the Clarys believed Kelly would help Azriel find a career pursuing her love of music. They vowed to be more careful. We needed to make sure it was about music because he was only to mentor her, Alice said. And then from there, he wanted her to travel with him so she could see how the music game really was. We thought it could be an opportunity and that she was going to be with a guardian, a female guardian. One of Kelly's handlers in the inner circle would look out for their daughter. So stupid, Angelo said. We allowed her to go, but we were kind of nervous about her situation, Alice continued. And that's the messed up part. She had been lying to us the whole time. And a relationship that was supposed to be about music had turned sexual. The Clarice told me Azriel admitted she began having sex with Kelly in 2015 when she was 17, a year below the age of consent in Florida. It's a situation of this guy is very good at what he does, Alice said, and what he does is seduce people into being abused. Azriel never came home from her travels with the singer. And the sources I developed said she became his favorite among the 6 women he housed in Atlanta and Chicago, his number one girl. The Clarice tried to intervene to bring Azriel home the first time in late August 2015. They sent their oldest daughter, Isis to Chicago, believing the Kelly camp would be more likely to trust her than 2 angry parents. I think it's Isis, went to his recording studio on Ohio Street downtown. Kelly had not yet moved the chocolate factory to North Justine Street. She got into a loud argument when she started fighting with the star and his crew, demanding to see her sister. "You need to shut the hell up with all this noise. I don't do drama. You're making a scene," Alice heard Kelly tell Isis when her older daughter held her cell phone up during the fight. Alice called the police. When CPD arrived at the front door, Azriel was no longer there. Isis came home alone. The Clarys later filed a police report in Chicago when a lawyer advised them that could help. CPD took no action. The Clarys said they also got nowhere when they tried to get Florida police to investigate. Kelly's relationship with Azriel, which began when she was underage, Polk County officers investigated but also took no action. After the Savages met for hours with FBI agent Kelly Jo Strickler in Georgia, the Clarys talked to her at length too. That's interesting, because I was under the impression that they never talked to FBI, or it took a long time, or it wasn't right until right before the trial. Oh, so they talked to him back when the Savages did. She wouldn't talk to me and referred me to an FBI spokesman who would neither confirm nor deny an investigation. Like Joy Savage, Azriel Clary felt more comfortable talking to her father than to her mother, and he got a few calls after she began living with Kelly in July of 2017. Azriel said Kelly wanted to invite him to a concert in Indiana where the two of them could talk man to man. Wary of Kelly's motives, Angelo did not accept the invitation. Then Azriel told her dad some news. Kelly had recently paid for her to have breast enhancement surgery. The Savages later learned that Joy had the surgery too. "I am beyond furious," Angelo told me. I had to tell her, "How could you do this? What the hell were you thinking? What if you died on the operating table? I don't even know what we can do anymore. I just know we got to get her home." He paused and took a deep breath. "I'm filled with anger and rage," Angelo continued in a tone that convinced me I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of those emotions. "I do believe she has been brainwashed. She's starstruck and believes he will help her do the things she's dreamed about, but she's not doing anything, not singing, nothing, and I just don't know what we can do. For a long time, Alice didn't want to act rashly. I have read some try to kill themselves because he no longer deals with them. She said of Kelly's girlfriends, I desperately want my daughter back. But what will the repercussions be if she doesn't come willingly? These girls think this man loves them. She broke down in tears. We've had deaths in the family birthdays, and I haven't heard from her, and she hasn't been here for any of it. I didn't even hear from her on Mother's Day in 2017. All I want to do is bring her home. The Clarys themselves tried again to bring Azriel home in May of 2018. They flew to Chicago, rented a car, and drove to Kelly's new studio on North Justine Street there. They argued with two of his omnipresent security guards who called Chicago police. The cops threatened to arrest the Clarys for causing a disturbance, they told me, and the officers would not take a police report or conduct a well-being check. Angelo said the responding officers seemed to know and were friendly with Kelly's security. This has got to end. They're all in his pocket and nobody's doing anything. CPD's top spokesman told me off-duty officers are not required to report who they work for part-time, although they carry their badge and service sidearm. For years, activists for police reform have called this a recipe for conflicts of interest, and it's one of the rare criticisms in which they're joined by CPD brass. Chicago's powerful police union fights to keep the policy in place. The policy in place. I said policy, Lord. Policy in place. I've long heard some officers in Chicago and Olympia Fields worked security for Kelly, and department rules didn't stop them from doing it or require them to tell anyone about it. A few hours after their visit to North Justine Street, Azriel called her parents via FaceTime. She said she was fine and just wanted to be left alone. It was almost the same language Joyce Savage used when she made a YouTube video telling her parents to leave her and Kelly alone. Like they was following a script, Tim said. Yep, Angelo agreed. In the FaceTime chat, Azriel said Kelly was the only person who really loved and cared about her. Then she wished Alice a happy Mother's Day and hung up. 3 other key sources contribute to my first story about what a police report had called the R.Kelly cult. The singer's former personal assistant, Cheryl Mack, told me a lot about her time working for Kelly and how she saw him mistreat the women he housed. 2 of those women, Asante McGee and Kitty Jones, spoke to me for the first time about what they experienced while living with what they had also come to call the cult. All of them said they believed Kelly had a problem and he had to stop. Girls initially think this is R.Kelly. I'm going to live a lavish lifestyle, Cheryl Mack said. No, you have to ask for food. You have to ask to go use the bathroom. He is a mastermind. He is a master at mind control. He is a puppet master. Kelly ordered the women he housed to dress in jogging suits because he doesn't want their figures to be exposed. He doesn't want them to look appealing to anyone else, she said. When other men entered the room, he made the girls turn around and face the wall in their jogging suits because he doesn't want them to be looked at by anyone else. A Tennessee native who juggled corporate jobs with freelance artist management, Mac met Kelly at the 2004 MTV Video Music Awards in Miami. 3 artists she represented would wound up having sexual relationships with the star over the next decade, she said. The first was an artist in her 30s. The second was a 17-year-old singer from Chicago's West Side, then living in Atlanta. Max said Kelly took the young singer's virginity, and when her relationship with him ended a year later, she tried to slit her wrist on several occasions, and she drove her car in the middle of traffic. Wow, in Chicago. Other sources confirm that story. Wow.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high.
Nope, this ain't it. You are tuned into a realistic, unprofessional perspective reading of this book. So that means stumbles, fumbles, and sometimes an occasional mispronunciation of words. So if you are looking for the audible of this book, go buy it yourself, or feel free to mute me and read on your own. Otherwise, sit back and be grateful. You are tuned into a live reading with Whitney D. OMG, I love Sprizzy. Wait, what? You don't know about Sprizzy? Child. They pride themselves on being the original marketing platform made specifically for YouTube content creators. Their mission is simple: to help the YouTubers grow their channels safely and effectively by exposing their videos to new potential fans. Like a matchmaking service, Sprizzy crafts highly effective YouTube ads campaigns that target YouTubers searching for content just like yours. Best of all, this all takes place on YouTube's very own ad platform, Google Ads, ensuring those new subscribers to your channel are real, lifelong fans. Now, whether you are looking to get the word out about one of your videos or you're looking to gain new subscribers to your channel, Sprizzy can help you along the way. The best thing, all views are from 100% real people. They promise to never use bots, click farms, or pay people to watch your videos. All growth is organic and real with no risk to your channel. All views are 100% verifiable through your YouTube Creator Studio analyst. So what are you waiting on? If you are a new content creator or you just want to get a little more push out there and get your content seen, try Sprizzy. Look at my description box for a link and have fun. See you soon. Bye.
I'm Whitney. Keep it cute or get the boot.